Trump administration's latest move, which is yet another effort to block H-1B visas and block those who are most deserving. And yet again, it's actually being done in a manner that is almost symptomatic of Trump 2.0, creating nationalist barriers, all while pushing pro-business rhetoric. Now, what has happened is, after hiking fees, increasing scrutiny, there's yet another layer of uncertainty that is being added. And this time around, LinkedIn accounts of candidates are being screened. Ostensibly, candidates' profiles will be screened and vetted for those, and red flags will be raised for those whom they find have curbed freedom of speech. And anyone or their families found to be curbing the same will not get an H-1B visa. Now, this is the exact same rhetoric that Donald Trump and his administration had pushed against European governments and against big tech by saying that conservative voices are being suppressed, and they want to do the same thing when it comes to H-1B as well. Now, interestingly, viewers, it was the big tech CEOs who were actually most keen to have what they thought was a pro-business American president. And ironically, the latest directive for H-1B candidates and the screening process is going to hit tech companies the most, simply because this is where the pipeline will actually shrink and will have an impact on their talent pool as well. For India, of course, it's going to be extremely significant. 70% of H-1B visas come for Indians, and this kind of additional screening, which too much of discretionary powers being handed out to superiors, will lead to Indians being impacted as well. And in fact, 70% H-1Bs from India will be impacted. Now, US technology is dependent on H-1B pipeline, simply because the STEM talent pipeline at home is something that is shrinking, and this may backfire in the long run because tech companies are likely to raise this as a red flag going forward. But in the short run, this is something that will hit those wanting to go to the US on H-1B visas even more. Let's get in Rohit Sharma, who's an immigration expert, for a quick update on how much of an impact this will be. Now, Rohit, there have already been multiple efforts by the Trump administration in the past, repeated screening, additional provisions being added, fees being increased. But this level of scrutiny that they're adding just makes H-1B visas much, much tougher than what it is right now.
Yeah, to start with, as far as the intent is to suppress the voices against anything that America is doing, then we can question this very move. But as far as the intent is to ensure that the legal compliances are followed and the fraud is not happening. So what I believe is that, as regard this new directive and the discretionary power that is given to the visa officer, I would like to believe that it is more on the line that they want foreign workers, surely, but they don't want fraud. They want talent, but they don't want trouble. So, but yes, as
the real
regard
problem is who defines that? Who defines that? Because that is where the real problem is. Too much of discretionary power to those who will be vetting these applications means it is their personal decision and discretion that will actually apply, no standardization.
That is what I said, that as far as the intent is to just suppress voices. So difficult to make a comment right now that, whether this intent is there. Yes, too much of discretionary power given to anyone actually will lead to judgments, which again cannot be challenged. So what happens, with these kind of announcements, as an applicant, you start thinking whether you should apply or not, or you start fearing refusal more than anything else. And getting into someone's LinkedIn is almost getting into someone's life. Like, they are talking about not only of the applicant, but even if any of the family member is making any comment or anything is there, then again,
so
that
earlier this was being done for student visas, because there were these massive protests that took place at university campuses last year, and that Trump administration said was the reason why student visas need to be vetted greatly. But when you talk about professional visas like H-1B, this kind of screening shouldn't and doesn't take place ideally. So isn't this just too much of scrutiny and vetting that is taking place in the garb of protecting freedom of speech? Trump administration is doing everything it can to ensure it doesn't give visas.
Yeah, that is there. But at the same time, Trump administration, I'm sure, is knowing it very well that 70 to 75% of H-1B visas across the world happens to India itself, right? And then Amazon, Google, Microsoft. These are the companies that are depending on this talent only. So it is good for companies, that are shell companies, or the people who are applying, through legal and illegal routes just to enter US. But overall, with this kind of
But Rohit, how
strategy with
many
the plan.
such candidates would actually have shell companies?
True,
Most of them
true.
want to be part of the larger tech ecosystem in the US, which is most lucrative, and the Indian talent is the best fit for that
Yes.
global tech ecosystem.
Yes, absolutely. That is what I'm saying. So they should be rather mindful of these strategies at their end, because if they are coming up with these kind of news every second day, what they are doing is they
All
are
right.
shifting the talent of India to some other countries, and also not the talent that India is possessing that is actually acquiring space in
Huh.
US. The US companies, in fact, have
Okay.
started looking for alternate destinations across the world.
All
So
right.
it is not a very happy situation for Trump administration just come up and announce something like that.
No, no. The Trump administration needs to worry about bigger problems, and this is going to lead to that bigger problem, which is when the same
Yeah,
tech CEOs who were batting for him just 9 months
true.
back are going to come and say, "Where is my tech pipeline? You've completely dried it up because of these
True.
lopsided policies." I'm going to leave it there. Rohit Sharma joining us for that quick check of how this looks like as far as the immigration landscape in the US is concerned.